What's going on, guys? It's your boy Tayo Player 107 from Squid Game The Challenge. I am back with a part 2 to my personal experience on the show. I've been loving reading your messages, guys, in the comment section. If you haven't already, go check out part 1 to this experience. Again, it was insane, guys. A huge breakdown was done in that first video, so go check it out if you haven't already. But in today's video, on this second part, I'll be going a lot more deeper into the actual time in the dorms. So again, guys, this was a fully immersive experience. We were there 24/7 when we were in the dorms. There was no break, there was no phones, there was no concept of time. We didn't know what time it was, guys. You don't understand. The thing that the show left out is basically that there was a lot of downtime. So when we weren't playing the games, we were literally just talking to each other, trying to get to know each other, you know, talking about strategy, trying to form alliances, but also at the same time, just having a bit of fun. So we got given like boxer shorts and socks, and obviously we were quite creative and created balls and stuff and played different games. So I wish they showed that a lot more in the show. But again, I'm gonna go deeper into the downtime and exactly what happened, because I feel like it doesn't do it justice. The show doesn't show like why everyone was so emotional. It looks so dramatic, you know, especially when Mutti left player 200. It looks so dramatic, everyone's reactions like, why do you care so much about a guy you barely know, you know? But what you don't understand is before the actual challenges happened, before the actual eliminations and the dorm challenges happened, we got a lot of time to get to know each other first. So they really allowed us to fully immerse ourselves in this experience and just get on and vibe. And that was the really nice thing about it. So again, I'm here to share my side, my experience, and what I encountered in the dorms. So I met a number of amazing people. I do have to say they diversely casted this show. However, I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't display that diversity in the show. I feel like it was very much American heavy in terms of the characters they chose to follow. However, I cannot complain. Like I myself got a decent amount of screen time, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. I just wish you also saw the amazing kind of diverse people that was also on the show, because they had amazing stories. Everyone that was casted on that show had an amazing story. Like there was doctors, there was surgeons, there was, you know, social media influencers, there was just people from all different walks of life, you know, from Dubai, Sweden, Korea, like America. You know, obviously you only saw mainly the Americans, but there was a real diverse cast, and I'm so grateful to kind of met some amazing people. So let me get you the tea. So basically the reason why people were so invested and crying and hurt about Mutti leaving is because genuinely, like, all we had was each other. Like, we literally just got past red light, green light. Bearing in mind, this was such a traumatic experience. Like, we all trauma bonded in a way, you know? For all of us that were grateful enough to pass that first challenge, like, we were mentally on a different level to everyone else. So we really had to just clap for ourselves and be like, yo, we really went through it. You know, that first challenge was no joke. So we already kind of bonded through trauma in a weird way, you know? So it's quite sad, because obviously going through that kind of such a tough challenge, and then having someone that's experienced that same challenge go out because someone just chose to eliminate them, it kind of hurt deep down. And bearing in mind, guys, we were sleep deprived. We didn't get a lot of sleep. We had no concept of time, so we didn't know what time we were waking up or going to sleep. And on top of that, the meals we received were really, really bad. Like, minimal calories. I'm talking about maybe 1,000 to 1,300 max. So it was really, really small portion sizes, you know. I'm a big snacker as well, and I generally need a lot more calories to walk around. So it was a struggle for me. I had a lot of less energy, and I lost a lot of weight. I lost about 4 kilos in my time there. So again, for example, let me break down the food. So for morning times, we got bland porridge, you know, no sugar, nothing. In the afternoons, it would be like boiled chicken breast, like bland, no salt, nothing. And then just some baby potatoes and a bit of veg. And then dinner was like a rice and an egg, for example. So it was very bland. There was not a lot of salt or sugar, and that's the real killer, you know. And I think they create these conditions obviously because, again, it's a challenge show. They want people to suffer in a way, obviously safely, but this heightens and elevates everyone's emotions because you're in a stressed state, if you get what I'm saying. So I think people need to bear in mind that everyone was in a stressed state and emotions were high naturally. So it may seem like overreaction, but when you're actually in this experience, you just have to live it to understand, if that makes sense. So I don't blame certain people for crying for Mutti leaving, but literally we got really close to each other, and there was a lot of downtime for us to actually get to know each other. Another reason why people got close together, again, we were really creative with our time there. So when we weren't talking strategy or alliances, because there's only so much you can talk about that for however long, you just really got to know these people, you know, and especially from early, people were forming cliques and groups, and so obviously you build a relationship very quickly with those individuals. And we were so creative in those rooms. Like I said, going back to the games we played a number of hand games, we played Duck Duck Goose, we played actually like a massive volleyball game. I wish they showed that. So we tied all of our jumpers up into a big line, tied it across the whole dorm, and we played like a massive 50 versus 50 volleyball game. So that was absolutely epic, you know. There was so much fun stuff we did. We created, like I said, the balls out of the socks and the boxer shorts and tied it with hairbands, and we did bowling as well. We played football, we played American football, you know. So there was just so much stuff that wasn't shown, which would have been epic, because I feel like it doesn't do it justice, and doesn't show the social experiment side of things, like how humans are so creative when we have time on our hands and we're in this almost like prison environment. So moving on, once again certain players start to get eliminated and we are passing challenges, stuff gets really real. So again, after passing that red light, green light, what would happen is the days would literally be like a game day, then it would be like a chill day, and that chill day is again that downtime. So 24 hours of just like literally just chilling, downtime. You don't really do a game or anything. In that time you might encounter an elimination or a dorm challenge, and then it would repeat like that. So it'd be a game, then dorm challenge / downtime, game, then downtime, you know, challenges, etc. They might even throw in like an extra downtime day just to throw ourselves off, so we didn't know the routine. They were really smart in making us not expect anything, if that makes sense. So we were constantly always on edge. So again, this is another thing you have to bear in mind with everyone's emotions. Like I said, we were always on fight or flight mode. So we just didn't know what would happen next, and that was the tough part, you know. A lot of people were also scared at night to sleep because there was like rumors going around that people would rip off your numbers, then you get eliminated, or like, you know what I mean. In the actual show, obviously at nighttime, you're like, this crazy thing happens, you know, people start to fight each other and stuff. So obviously that wasn't going to happen, but you never know what could happen. An elimination or a dorm task could happen. So people were always on edge, and that's what the show in Netflix didn't convey. I think it was very fast paced, which is good because it keeps people hooked, but at the same time it doesn't do it justice as in to what our full immersive experience was like. All right, so again, after the dorm challenges and Muti sadly leaving, again it put a bit of a down on the whole kind of dorm and environment, and everyone was upset. But again, it kind of started to kick in that we were on a game show to win lots of money, so this is real, man. Like, we're gonna have to eventually like really kind of be cutthroat with certain situations, and again, it's a real test of your character. And I think that's why people form close relationships from early, because they wanted to know people they could trust, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, they know they have to be cutthroat and ruthless. Another cool thing I feel they left out was actually when we got our meals, how they would do it. So what they would do is an alarm sound or like a ringtone will come on, like, and then with that sound, everyone will rush quickly and form lines. So you had like a vegan line or like a not a vegetarian line, then meat eater line. So everyone would form their lines, and it's crazy because over the days, just how humans are conditioned, that noise, everyone will rush quickly. At the start, everyone's like, oh, just whatever, slow. But then when you're really hungry and starving, honestly, that sound, it's like we were dogs. We were like, you know, ready to, it's so bad, but we were conditioned to that sound. So I wish they also showed that aspect on the show as well, which I think they missed out. And I think that's another reason why everyone jumped for the food, you know. I'm not proud as well. I grabbed a couple of chips. I don't know if you saw it. I got caught in 4K. It's so bad. But genuinely, a lot of us were starving. And yeah, it was. I think they didn't highlight that. I think it didn't show the reason behind us grabbing a lot of the food. And I think if they did that, it would have made sense why everyone grabbed that, if that makes sense. But yeah, so nothing really was, even though it seemed over dramatic, just bear in mind that everyone's stress levels are so heightened, and then there was actually a lot of downtime. So there was a lot of time that you guys didn't really see at home. So again, once that downtime was done, you would move on to a challenge. So the next challenge for me was again taking on Dalgona. So again, this cookie challenge was crazy. I did not expect the twist of standing in each line. The reason why I chose line number 4 is because I was born on the 4th of August. So the number 4 is a lucky number for me. However, obviously, it is an unlucky number, and I should have realized that. But again, I don't regret it. I stood my ground. That's kind of what I was gonna go for anyways. So it's a shame that Spencer had to crumble in that moment and situation. However, again, if you're put in that situation, it's very hard to say you would have done the same, you know. I don't blame him. At the end of the day, someone had to take it. And yeah, I was trying to be as positive as possible and uplift everyone because, you know, if you want to be mentally strong and have that mental fortitude, you automatically have to think positive in a bad situation. That's how I go about facing adversity, and that's what I feel helps me in those stressful situations and performing under pressure. If you automatically think bad, then bad will come. You know, you're kind of manifesting it in a way. If you give yourself that mental edge and just say, you know what if I can tackle this on, and if I do, you know, the victory will be sweeter. If you have that kind of mentality, then you are going to go into it with a lot more confidence, and naturally you'll perform better. That's how my mind personally works, and that's what I was trying to convey to everyone else. However, obviously it was a struggle and a lot of people didn't make it. After that Dalgona game, again, we came back to the dorms, and then you could notice a lot of the bunks were removed. So while we were away from the dorms, they removed a lot of the bunks, so it looked way more emptier. And it was starting to get really real now. Like, you could see the numbers real dwindle, and I think people were playing a lot more of a strategic game now that there was less and less people. At the start, it was a lot more lovelier. People were, you know, rooting for each other, wanting us to win. But now you could tell there was like a slight shift in, oh, you know what, this is an actual game now. You got to, you know, play your cards right. And I noticed that especially after the Algona. So moving on again, there was a lot more downtime. So there's a lot more chit chat, getting to know each other, just killing time. You know, that we made jokes, like we called it Squid Wait instead of Squid Games, because there was a lot of waiting around, as you can imagine. And again, obviously, as they transported us to and from the games and stuff. So the actual games that we played in were situated in different studios. So it took a time, obviously, to go there. We didn't take no buses. It was all in the same set. So it was just like walking distance, but obviously to galvanize all those people, and then obviously to make sure the set's prepped and stuff, there was a lot of waiting around. So you can imagine there was a lot of like, just, again, like I said, people's stress level was always high and just having to wait around. So that's what happened while we were like waiting for the games to happen. But anyways, moving on, Battleships was next up. We did not expect this. We thought this was tug of war. So again, like I said, coming back to it, people were starting to play this game right now. So people that I wouldn't really talk to as much, like a lot of the maybe girls will come up to me and be like, oh, starting to chat to me a lot more, and naturally makes sense because they think, or they assume, tug of war's next, so they want a lot of strong guys to, you know, to be on their team. So I would say Chad as well. He's a big dude. Everyone wanted him, so people start to strike conversations with certain people. You know what I mean? So everyone is starting to play a bit of a strategy game now, while we have this downtime, which was very interesting to see. Again, once we are in finally Battleships, like, it was so funny. We had a lot of, like I said, a lot of downtime, and we would actually go in groups. So it would take about 1 or 2 hours to film each group, and our group was last, so we had to wait so long in this holding room. And then we were just like, obviously trying to practice strategies, like how we're gonna hold a rope. You know, it was so funny. I wish they showed that as well. But yeah, it's just practicing strategies, how we're gonna hold the rope, what order of the line we were in and stuff. And then when we got to the set, it was just like, whoa, this is so random. So again, like, if stuff looked scripted, it was not. Like, everyone was proper legit. I think it was just literally naturally how we reacted in this moment. And I think you can imagine, obviously, because there's cameras on us, people will tend to obviously maybe exaggerate or just be a bit more of a personality, you know what I mean? Just because the camera is there. So that's just naturally how it was, but nothing was scripted. Everything was authentic. And I think it must have been a headache to edit because there was footage upon footage upon footage. And again, to get all of that footage, like on sets, they had multiple cameras, and same thing in the dorms. They had multiple cameras hidden in the bunk beds, in the mirrors, in the toilets, in the showers, like everywhere, basically. Everywhere was covered. But you couldn't really tell they were filming. The only time you could tell they were filming was literally if you noticed all the cameras kind of turned at your conversation or pointed at you towards your conversation. But even then, you wouldn't know like if your stuff makes the edit, you know? So there was zero control, zero scripting. Like I said, I applaud the editing team. You've done an amazing job. But yeah, that's kind of like how it went and ran down. And sadly, on Battleships, if you haven't seen it already, this is a spoiler, that's the time I get eliminated. It was so unlucky. I was facing the Gambu gang. They chose F8 instead of F5. Everyone else wanted F5, but Rick, he was such a lovely fella, but he said he had 18 grandkids and wanted to pick FA, and their captain went for it, and I could not believe it. Our ship sank, you know. Obviously, people ask me, oh, why did you clap at the end? I'm like, you know what? I was grateful for the opportunity. It was an amazing game. Like, I experienced so much in that time. Honestly, it was just amazing. I was just thankful. And honestly, I was looking forward to, again, going back to my mindset thing. I was looking back to good food now. Like, okay, obviously this is annoying. I lost, you know, the chance of winning millions. But what's the positive side? Well, I actually go back home. I'm eating food now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm back to normal life. So I was looking forward to seeing my family again. You know, I'm thinking of those things. So that's why I started clapping at the end. You know, I had a great game, great experience. So I was looking forward to that and the next chapter that life brings. So after that, then again, the elimination process is very, very cutthroat. What would happen is we literally, as soon as we stopped filming, said goodbyes to everyone, literally got out the set. So you would be taken back, not even to the dorms, you'd go out the other way to studios onto a bus where you get driven back to the hotel, where you quarantine then for a day. So you would stay there for the day. And then the next day you go back downstairs out the hotel, collect your belongings. So you hand in your tracksuit, and in return you get your phone and whatnot, normal clothes. And then they book you a taxi back home, and that's it. And if you're from the States or whatever, they'll book your taxi to the airport, and then your next flight, you're out. So it was very much boom. Like, if you're out, it's quick. There's no goodbyes. You're just boom, vanish, you know? So yeah, it was absolutely, again, an unreal experience. I hope you guys enjoyed a deeper dive into my personal experience and what happened in the dorms itself. If you want a part 3 to this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's really appreciated. I want to grow this as well. I want to share more of my experiences. So if you have any questions as well, I will do a question and answer video. So to any of your comments, again, I've got tons in part 1, but if you want more of those questions answered, then comment below. I'll make a Q&A video for a final part 3 of my experience. And then from then on, I'll look to do some reactions for future episodes. So once this comes out, the episodes should be live for next week, episode 6 to 9. Again, I'm looking forward to that because I still don't know who won. I do not know who won. You know, it's crazy. Like I said, it's so cutthroat. Once you get eliminated, you're out. You don't get to speak to no one. So I'm invested as much as you are, guys. This has been an amazing journey, especially for me. I'm looking forward to what the future holds. But once again, thank you for all your support. I've been getting so many lovely messages from all of you. I appreciate that you thought I was an amazing player and was genuine, and I'm grateful for that. And like I said, just follow this up, you know, keep the socials growing. It would mean a lot to me. And as always, comment, like, share, most subscribe to the YouTube channel. For now, it's been your boy Tayo, player 107, signing out with a bang, but catch me next week with some more Squid Game update. Take care for now, and peace.